Hello, Michelle here. Oh, just a couple of minutes late. I just saw that an outsourcer had finished a video, well, part of a video that I have been working on for a testimonial for my coaching. So I was a bit excited, so I wanted to have a quick look at it. It still needs a few tweaking things. But anyway, that's why I was late. So what are we? Hold on, I'm losing count now. Day 7. So that's exciting, isn't it? Because it does mean, officially in Australia anyway, today's the last day of the official blog week of the challenge. Of course, it's your blog, it's your business. If you really want to and you need to, you can keep blogging beyond this point, and you can keep working on that piece of content. That's fine. It's really not a problem. Now, what else was I going to say? So obviously you're in America, then today is actually still Thursday, not Friday. So you've got, as we talked yesterday, you've still got quite a few hours up your sleeve to get that done. So, hello, somebody's there. I can't see who it is because Facebook Live has not told me. Actually, just before I got on my social media training group, there was a live video showing some new features inside Facebook Live. So I think I might have a quick play with them. Maybe, I don't know, because it's fun. And I just wanted to see what it's like. So ignore my finger. Actually, I'll come from the other side and then that finger won't get in the way. So I press. So you guys, if you want to have a go with Facebook Live, you should, because it's quite interactive. And if you've got a few people following you or you're doing it on your personal Facebook account, you can have a bit of fun with it. So anyway, in the top left-hand corner, there's a little wand. So you can click it and then you can press some of the things down here. So there you go. Look, I'm kind of classical now, apparently. Oh, I wouldn't have to put on makeup if I was like that. There's a country one now. My purple's gone sort of yellow and I've gone country and western. But I think, what's that one? Oh, that's a bit spooky. Now we're all just having a bit of fun, aren't we? So if I go back to that and then, I'm not sure where it is. There is something else here, which I can't see because I'm not as advanced, believe it or not. Oh, look, I can draw on the screen. There is actually masks in here, which is supposed to be quite similar to Snapchat. Snapchat? Yeah. But I can't see the masks. All I can see is the filters. So anyway, we can have another play with that another day. I might go, it'd be nice if there was a Christmassy one. Here am I talking about Christmas again. See if we can't have a Christmassy theme going on. Anyway, I will turn that off. I think if I go up there you go. So we're back to normal now. So I just wanted to have a play with it because I only saw that this morning as well. I'm like a kid in the candy store. All right. So how is your blog post going? I know Sandra, who was on yesterday live, was going to get started. Bambadeli's there. Hello. So I'm not sure how she went yesterday. She was going to give herself at least a 25-minute block of time to maybe get 500 words done or something like that, which is, really all you need. You don't need, you don't need a lot of time. If you chunk it up into smaller pieces, it's suddenly feeling achievable. Like eating an elephant, which is something that we talked about yesterday, just one mouthful at a time. So let me know how you're going, if you need any more, if there's any questions I can answer, any way I can help get that blog post done. If you can't get to the 1,500 words, as I've said every day, I think this week, don't stress, give yourself a bit of a break, but do get something done because you will actually feel like you achieved something. When you do that, you'll be a happy camper and you'll feel like you could, do the next thing because it won't be, silly to start because you'll never finish it, which is something we talked about yesterday as well. When you actually make these little wins, even if the win is a smaller goal, so even if you don't reach the 1,500 words, if you reach 500 words, for example, and it's a completed piece that you can put up onto your blog, even though it's not perfect, because we don't want to get in that trap either, then you'll feel like you've had a little win. And the next part of the challenge, which is all about creating the marketing assets, well, you'll have something that you can play with. The best way to use Pinterest for content promotion. So you use Pinterest as long as you know that your audience is on there. Now, there is actually a much wider audience in Pinterest than there used to be. It used to be pretty much just women and, cooking and sewing and craft sort of things, and it was very focused to sort of at-home mums even, because it became like their pin board, hence the name. But it is much broader now, and as long as you can find your audience on there, then it's a great place to go. Again, what you need to do in Pinterest is go and regularly put up images of your own. And to do that, you don't just go into Pinterest necessarily and put the images. You have the images on your website, say the feature image for this blog post or something, or somewhere on your website, and then you share from there, and that is the easiest way to make that that image linkable to your website. So when somebody clicks on it inside Pinterest, they'll end up on your website. You can also do that when you put a pin in, or when you put an image into Pinterest. You can make it so that that image links to a place. Obviously, a place on your website is ideal, and you'll be able to do that for your blog post. So the trick in Pinterest, though, is the image has to be pretty, it has to pop a lot. It has to be quite attractive, because the idea is that people will go, oh, I like that. I want to pin that on my board. So once they do that, then their audience sees that as well. So it's a way to, it's like viral images. So you've got to, Pinterest is all about the picture. I suppose a little like Instagram, but it's way easier to share on Pinterest than it is on Instagram. So I don't know, does that answer your question, Bamadali? So it's really about being very consistent and putting up images in there on a regular basis, and making sure that they link back to your website, and also actually being part of that community. So going to share other people's pins, because they will get an alert to say that you shared their pin onto your board. So you might have a board, so you might have a board in your account, which is about fantastic things that you've seen on Instagram in your industry, and then you just fill that with some of the better content that's on Pinterest related to what you do. So that's how you do that, and then they will see you. You also, of course, it's the usual thing with being part of a community and leaving comments. So you can go and leave comments under people's pins and that kind of thing as well. So does that sort of answer it? It's very similar to lots of the other social media. It's really about being part of that community on there. But the images do need to be very poppy. They do need to look great and make people want to share them, because that's the whole point with those images. So I hope that answers the question. Let me know if you want any more detail. It's one of those, it's a very specific social media platform, unlike Facebook, which is pretty generic in many ways, in that there are almost every industry is represented these days on Facebook, just because everybody mostly is on Facebook, or their wife is, or their partner, or their kids, or whatever. So most people have some kind of connection to Facebook in some way, even if it's just a family member. So that's Facebook. Now, so next week, starting tomorrow, I have to make a few changes add a bit of training into the resource centre. I'll be adding the content creating stuff. So all of the image creating, or what are we calling it? Marketing assets. I have to keep remembering the names that we called these things, because we kind of make them up as we go along. So the marketing assets, which is really just the images, and which is memes and quotes and infographics and things like that, as well as we talk about creating video and creating slideshows and audios, which you can then use all in different ways around the web in order to promote your fantastic piece of content that you've created this week. So you'll be able to put it in a little folder on your computer, store it nice and easy to find, and you'll be able to roll it out, next week, the week after, next year, whenever you need to promote, or you want to promote that particular article that you wrote this week. You'll be able to use this little package of marketing assets, we're going to call it, and share it using social media. Preferably, I would prefer that you used software like Buffer. I think there's training on Buffer inside the resource centre once I put it up for next week. So Buffer allows you to go and put the content in and schedule it, so when you want it to go out. So you'll be able to put the image in, a little bit of text and a link, and schedule it for next Tuesday at 3:30 or whatever, like something like that. So it's really, really handy when it comes to setting things up in advance, going on and doing the other things you need to do in your business while it's busy promoting your business for you. So that's what we'll be doing next week. And it's kind of exciting because it's one of my favorite things to do, because it's as creative. And, you know, a lot of you, I don't know, I get people a bit of pushback occasionally whenever I use the word creative, because people say, I can't create. It's just like, I can't write. The reality is, if you can speak, you can write. And because I come from a family where my mother was an artist, she would never allow anyone to say that you are not creative. It's part of the human nature. If you can speak, you can write. If you're a human, you can be creative. This is my mother's voice that I'm channeling to you at the moment. So I won't take that you're not creative. You may not be happy sometimes with the results that you create. Gosh, neither am I. That's fine. But I would like you to have a go, and there's lots of reasons why. Some a part of that, the reasons that I want you to have a go at creating some of the images, is that you'll then know the process. You'll then get a better feel for what it is you want on those images and how you want them to look. You may not come up with a product that you're happy with for whatever reason, because we're very picky or whatever. And sometimes it takes a little bit to get into your creative juices as well. So we will also, because this is something that Frankie reminded me last challenge to talk about, because it is actually a very valid thing, and something ultimately you perhaps should be doing, and that is outsourcing it. So I want you to have a go at creating it first, because it's much easier to ask someone else to do something if you've got some experience. You don't have to be an expert in it, and that's one of the reasons we outsource, is because we don't really know how to do it. But you have a broad idea of how to do it, and with the images, it's actually very accessible. You can actually get in there, have a play in Canva, and have a go at creating those images yourself. So I would like you to have at least a go, even if it's creating a Christmas card for your grandma or something. So you can go and have a fiddle with it. It's actually quite easy to use, and it's a lot of fun. But I will also talk a little bit about taking your idea, your blog post, and then how to take that over to somewhere like Fiverr, for example, and say, I would like, X number of images from you that will promote this blog post. I would like some quotes from it, in an image. I would like a couple of memes. I would love it if you could create an infographic. That might be a bit slightly more expensive option. But when I say expensive, it might be $10 instead of $5. But I think you could go over there and get a graphic designer to come up with, 3 or 4 or 5 or odd images, like as in a package that they could put together for you that would help you promote your blog post, which is exactly what I want you to do next week anyway. So that's one way that you can step out of the process a little bit and get someone else to do it, which ultimately in your business online, you will need to start taking some things away from you that you don't need to be doing and give them to other people, because that's what running a successful business is about. It's not about you doing every part of the business. You probably don't do your accounting at the end of the year, the end of the financial year. If you do, you're probably quite good at it, or it's quite simple that you need to do. You probably, if you're not a mechanic, you probably don't give your car a service every quarter. You probably haven't built your house unless you're you're a builder, or you're maybe a home builder or something, and it's your hobby. But as a rule, we're all kind of good at one or two things, but we in our normal lives, we give other people the tasks to do. The connection dropped out. Oh, the internet. I think I'd have no trouble, but yes, get the internet. Anyway, I have another coaching call shortly, so I'm going to go. But are there any more questions for people who are watching? If not, I'll go in a tick. And don't forget to leave your questions over in the Facebook group, and also to make use of the Resource Centre, actually, because there's quite a few training videos there which can help you if you're getting stuck. And also, I'd love you to promote it, because people can come at any time during the challenge. They have a chance to win $50 as an Amazon voucher. So there's lots of reasons to come along and have a play. And the voucher will be won by somebody who creates the most pieces of content next week. So they haven't even missed the part that they're going to be in the opportunity to win something from. They just need to have a blog post that they're going to create it on, and they may have already created one in the past that they would like to use to create the content, so to create the images. invite your friends along. It's a great opportunity to get a $50 Amazon voucher you can use for Christmas time. Maybe get something for yourself because you deserve it, or a gift for someone else. Who knows? Anyway, invite people along. I'd love it, because the more people we get here, the more energy the whole group will have, and the more we can help each other out as well. All right. Love you all to bits. Have a fantastic day or a fantastic evening wherever you are. And I will see you tomorrow, which is the start for me in Australia of the content creating side of the challenge. So next week is all about being creative and getting those juices flowing in an imagey sort of way rather than in a writing way. All right. Take care. Oh, and I'll have my blog post link up hopefully by the end of the day. It's sort of done now. I just want a couple of other images and maybe even a video into it. So, all right. Love you all. See you. Bye.